Good evening. Good evening. Wanted to start the stream a little bit earlier to give everybody who's able to a chance to come on in, right? So we can hopefully start at 7 today. I hope everyone is having a really good day. But I'm so excited, y'all, as we have these brave conversations around social contracts. Okay, so that does have something to do with awareness. So we're about to discuss what and how social contracts connect to this awareness month. We're going to do that in just a moment. Because overall, we're talking about skill transfer. I'm challenging your transfer of your skills. That and why is it that what we do at work, right, in terms of interacting, relating, collaborating, asking, all those things, a lot of communication things. Why do we leave those skills at work often? Why do we do that? Then when we get home, we have all these tools and things in our toolbox, but we aren't using not a tool, not a tool at all. And that happens too often, especially when it comes to our young people, our kids. So, again, it's a wonderful Wednesday, and thank you so much for joining. So, we'll wait a couple more moments and go ahead and get started. Super excited about this conversation. Cannot wait, can't wait. Let me make sure my voice is ready. All right. We're going to go ahead, right? Being respectful and honoring time. So, first of all, yes, we normally go live on a Tuesday, but we appreciate your flexibility as we're making sure to still show up and still go live. It is Wednesday. Yesterday was my anniversary. Okay. So definitely more than worth making some adjustments. So, our October series, being intentional as we work to build awareness while we're still shining a light on these various causes that are identified to be marked, celebrated, more awareness brought during this month. This very special month, by the way, because first, I do know that I'm biased. I know that I'm biased when it comes to October for many different reasons. But evidently, I'm not the only one that's biased because there are so many, so many causes and awarenesses that are anchored in October. So, again, today's topic is going to be Communicate with Your Kids Month, social contracts. Communicating with your kids month. Hi, Sheila. Glad that you're on. Thank you. Communicating with your kids month, social contracts. And again, this is one of the awarenesses for October. So thank you for sharing your time with me today. And please do share this post, tag others to come back and check it out. And again, you know what? I'm going to challenge the lurkers today, all of y'all, all the lurkers, right? Because we're growing and supporting each other in that growth space. Please do comment and use emojis as things resonate with you and you hear different pieces today. So we'll wait just a few moments to see if someone else is getting on and really get into the meat of it all. What we're focusing on, again, social contracts, a brave conversation on awareness. Again, all surrounded by Communicate with Your Kids Month. So that is the focal point for awareness. Hey, Jamila, the IEP coach in the building. Thank you for joining. So really quickly as well, my replay members, I already talked to the lurkers a moment ago, right? Making sure that we're using our emojis and commenting when things resonate. But replay people, my replay members of the Holistic Collective, please be sure to put hashtag replay in the chat comments to let us know that you tuned in because we really sincerely appreciate the support. Always here to grow and stretch relational capacity. So this evening, again, we're challenging your transfer of skills, right? So again, why is it that different things that we do at work in terms of communication, things we learned about interacting, relating, collaborating, asking, we leave all of it at work. We leave it there. Why? When we get home, we aren't using not a tool. Some of the older generations say nary, We're using Nary a tool from our toolbox. So this skill set amnesia, that's what we're about to talk about. Hey, Tangeray, thank you so much. Thank you. This skill set amnesia, right, where you're not transferring what you know from work to outside of work, I'll say, it's really amplified. It becomes that much worse when we talk about our young people, our youth being in the midst. So let me pause and say this. So it definitely happens with adults in your personal life, but you don't transfer those skills. But again, and today we're focusing on the Communicating with Kids Awareness Month. So in this moment, we're talking about the kids, but be careful of all of that, okay? So before I really get started, I'm gonna be a little funny. Yep, skill set amnesia. We forget, you know it, but you forget, right? Hey, Wanda, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. This skill set amnesia, where we're not transferring those skills that we use and apply, again, in the workspace to places and spaces outside of work. So I talked to someone earlier and they said, oh, okay, you're in one of those moods. I am a little bit in the mood. So I'm gonna be a little bit funny, just a little bit, un poquito, and tell you to protect your toes a little bit this evening. All right, I'm not planning to tap dance all on your toes, but I might brush up against them once or twice while I'm talking to you today. I'll say that, you've been warned, all right? Okay, so social contracts. So some people might call them community norms, social suggestions, social agreements. It goes by a lot of different names, a lot of different euphemisms. But the reality is, it's just the rules. It's the rules of engagement. So that's what we're talking about. So many people have sat through, and yeah, I said what I said, we just sat through it, various meetings and workshops where some best practices and things that you should consider, right, were presented. Things having to do with communication and collaboration. That was the main focus of the discussions there. But first, in many cases, the learning or the shift that they wanted to happen, it really was centered around a series of questions to ask to make sure that the rules of engagement, the agreement, was truly built by the team. Truly built by the team. Now, let me ask y'all a question. So why do y'all think that's important to have the team do the building and the lifting when it comes to the rules of engagement, those the agreements, the social norms, whatever we want to call them? Why do y'all think that's important? People are kind of shifting to that for the team to build it. Why do y'all think that's important? Talk to me, talk to me. So while y'all are thinking, right? While y'all are thinking, I'll say, hey, Claudisha. Hey. So again, the question was, why is it important to have the team do the building and lifting in terms of the social norms and agreements, right? So while y'all are thinking and maybe talking to me in the chat, I'm going to give a couple of different answers. So one, the C-suite, the manager top level answer is it increases buy-in so that the effort that actually goes towards doing it, FR, for real, right? Actually doing and executing the plan for the agreement. Y'all were there. Y'all were definitely there. So the process is done with fidelity. The process is able to be done with fidelity because the team was there doing a part of all the pieces, the whole thing. Let's see. Jamila says the IP coach, it's a collective agreement. It is. You had a piece in it. Tangeray says, so they can think through the actions that they need to take. Very, very excellent point, Tangeray. So multiple perspectives, right? So multiple perspectives can be represented if all these different stakeholders, all these different members play a role in the agreement, the social contract, community norms, all these things we call it. Deisha says, exactly. I'll be a part of the solution instead of fighting and be a part of the problem, because right? Those urgencies, sometimes they call them, those fires that need to be put out and how it should be addressed, again, from all those different angles. All right. I see the audience being extra smart and extra on it. I love it. So that was the C-suite area, right? The C-suite answer, excuse me. So definitely increasing the buy-in because they were there for it. Frontline application, exactly what all of you all said. When someone is out of line, notice that I said when, because it's going to happen. So please expect it. So when someone is out of line, you're able to refer back to the agreement, the protocol that they created, right? So also, there's like an immediate checkpoint that comes with that of wait a minute, timeout, security, flag on the plane, right? All these things that's not in alignment with the agreement that you were a part of creating. What? Touch their soul immediately. Yeah, away from work life. It's like when a kid, and yes, I'm gonna say a kid, and I'm gonna be specific, not necessarily a toddler or a teen, because toddler rules of engagement are absolutely different. So a kid, right, a kid somewhere in between, when they suddenly shift and develop like a picky eating palate, right? A lot of people approach it by saying, okay, well, let's make sure to get them in the kitchen. So that same thought behind that experience, as in the collaboration, is at the workplace to design the communal norms. So you've seen the process from top to bottom, right? Your setup, your mise en place is on point. You've placed the ingredients, you've steered, you've mixed, you sauteed, you plated. How and why would you not eat? Why would you not partake of your hard work and your literal fruits of labor, right? Especially as a little person. But again, we're just using this metaphor for why we make sure we create together in spaces. And we talked about it in the workplace, but really, again, I really want us to change the context and think about the workspace, excuse me, social contracts anywhere, especially at home with your kids, because we're focusing on communicate with your kids month, that awareness. Tisha said, my kids will eat anything they help me make, right? So that's it. They're buying what fruits and vegetables? Oh, I don't like those. They saw the process from top to bottom. They're there. They're with you. They're all in at that point. So we took care of some of the buy-in by thinking about it that way. But we're talking about social contracts again outside of these workplaces, these organizations, the committee you sit on because y'all are so talented, all these things, but literally bringing your skill set, transferring your skill set at home as well, right? So we mentioned some of the questions. Yes, I mentioned some of the questions that people tend to use when they're facilitating the building of these social contracts. What other questions? Especially shout out to Disha. Glad you asked, right? We have time to get into a couple. One of them is, how do you want me to treat you? Imagine asking your young person that. How do you want me to treat you? Right, and just setting that tone. And let me pause and say this. The responses will be different and more impactful at the different age levels, especially as we start to build them out. So when I say build them out, at first you're going to get, the school good kid answers. I call them nice, with respect, all those things that they have heard, they know are very good things to say, right? So they think. But y'all, we have to build it out. Like we can't let them stay there when we ask them the question, how do you want to be treated? Nice with respect. I need you to tell me, what does it look like if I'm nice? What does it sound like to you? We have to be specific when we're collaborating with our young people, again, to actually be in that space and set up that social agreement with them. Because what if, not what if, first let me say, simply because depending on where I'm from, my age, and many other nuances that have to do with my background, anything that makes me me, guess what? We're all going to define these differently. So we need to talk about it. So what if to me, you said you want to be treated nicely? What if to me, nice was just making sure that I don't cuss you out? Because maybe I was cursed at as a kid. So if you're asking and you're telling me I want to be treated nicely, okay. So simply a better treatment would be me not cursing at you. But what if when you said you wanted to be treated nicely, you were thinking of making sure we're saying please and thank you and not yelling? So again, you see the gap. We have to be specific. We have to build it out. So that's what I mean when I say build it out when we're talking about these social contracts. What does it look like? I love that. Deisha said, pushing to give them more and provide clarity. That's a great point. Thank you. But again, because when you ask young people, right, all the way up through teens, they're going to give you those good kid school answers. So always a challenge. What does it look like? What does it sound like? And then that's when you really get into the meat of your social contract because it's super specific at that point. Very different. Then the second question I'm going to share with you, most people usually have about 4 or 5 questions that they build out or build around when they're doing their social contracts, but these were the top 2 I wanted to share. The second one is my favorite because people like to skirt around this issue. Okay, let's see. Jamila said, I like that, being specific as to how you want it to be treated. Yes, because everybody's background, everyone's going to bring all of that to their definition. So we need to hear what your definition looks like and sounds like, for sure. Second question, people love to tap dance and skirt around it, but I told y'all I wasn't going to tap dance on the toes. I was going to bump into them maybe a time or two this evening. When we have conflict, what will we do? What will we do when conflict arises? Because again, it's going to happen. So be prepared. It's going to happen. So be prepared. So you have to have specific steps and strategies and actions that will take for what will and won't happen in those times. So be prepared. Y'all have a plan. So this is what, right? Sometimes the young people will say, okay, we're going to stay calm and then we'll come back and talk about it. Or we're going to write down what it was. We're going to reframe it into I statements. All these things, right? Y'all let me know. I'll do a live on I statements another time if we need to. Or we're communicating with our young people because I love it. This is what we do. Okay. But we have to have specific steps and strategies that these are the actions that will and will not happen in those times. Again, this is not just classroom life, but also away from the workplace. Hey, brother-in-law. Yes to I statements. Okay, Tangeray, I sure will. What are the steps to take to resolve conflict? Listen, that is fully a whole nother live because there's a lot of things that even before you say, okay, we're resolving conflict, my goodness, it's many things that have to be in place. There's some systems and things. So this is part of what you will talk about. I'm glad you asked that, Jamila. Some of what you'll talk about in your social contract. What has to happen in those times when we're in the midst of conflict? What are we going to do? What is the move? We have a plan. You already know feelings are going to be involved, right? All right. So let's see what else. Last couple of things, y'all, just making sure, and I want to encourage because we have to do better. A lot of times we're on our best behavior. We might try a little bit harder. Your representative, right? A lot of us send representatives of ourselves to work. So a lot of us work harder. Maybe we're on our best behavior. Our representative is front and center when that check is connected, that financial transaction. But I want to be sure that we're not missing the fact that we still have transactions happening when we're away from the workplace. So there's still deposits and withdrawals being made in our kids' lives, depending on how we choose to move. So, that's why we're having these conversations, because together as a village, y'all, we have to do better. We have to be intentional so that we're building them up. Literally. So emotionally, socially, academically, spiritually, financially, in every way, everything you can think of, the answer is yes. We have to build them up, right? So please do, again, one more time, be mindful of your skill set transfer. I got too excited. Okay. And that we have to use that toolbox, the tools that you have that sometimes, okay, that was work. Use your toolbox in the very best ways, even when you're not at work, when you're not in that workspace. Okay. So we're going to let that marinate for a little bit. And that is all for tonight, you all. And I thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful for you choosing to spend a little time with me this evening. This is your reminder to please do double tap so you can see more posts like this, so you can save it, refer back to. Please don't forget to tag people and to share with people, please. Thank you for joining. This is Anika S. Jones, Holistic Fluency. We have a couple more sessions. We're building awareness all month, my favorite month. We're building some awareness. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, Tosh. I just saw you, Tosh. Hey, y'all go back and catch it from the beginning. Yes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye-bye.